Hey everybody, Mandy here, and in today's video we will be talking about Danganronpa Ultra Despair Girls' development, and how, just like the title says, it led to not releasing what could have been a completely different Danganronpa game than what we got in the final version, such as different pro tags or being able to do parkour. I'll be talking about everything and covering the development to see what game we could have gotten instead of Ultra Despair Girls. While you're here, make sure to subscribe to the channel as we're uploading a lot of Danganronpa content here. Thank you all so much, and I also hope you enjoy all the future videos. Thank you so much. Oh, also, let me know in the comments your thoughts on Ultra Despair Girls, as I would love to see everybody's thoughts on the game, whether they loved it or they hated it, especially considering how much this game is kinda mixed and it changed a lot during development. Please remember there will be spoilers in this video for Ultra Despair Girls, the first Danganronpa game and the second Danganronpa game, so watch out for them. And with that said, let's get into the video. So firstly, let's talk about the changes within the characters and the pro tag thing that I mentioned at the start. As many of you already know, the main characters of Ultra Despair Girls are Kamaru Naegi and Toko Fukawa, acting as a duo along your journey in order to stop Killer Monokuma spread around Toa City. The gameplay is mostly selecting different types of truth bullets for your megaphone gun to destroy the various different enemies that stand in your way, with multiple returning such as this dude, and this dude, and this guy, oh and this dude. There's also the Warriors of Hope that act like villains in this game. Yes, I know all their backstories, and I'm not going into any further detail about them, but for the sake of the plot, they act as the antagonists for this game. All sounds good, however, Kamaru and Toko were never considered for the role of the protagonist when the game was in a different state. It was originally going to be Kanon Nakajima, I think that's how you say it, and Haji Toa. From a gameplay standpoint, Kanon would have been acted a lot like Kamaru, while Haji would have acted a lot like Toko. As far as I can tell though, they never gave a reason as to why they changed it in the final game. However, you may be asking, who is Kanon? Well, Kanon is actually Leon's cousin. Her story is explored a lot more within the mangas, as her and Yasuhiro are the protagonists of for a manga called Ultra Despair Girl Hagakure. It's mentioned within the manga that she is pretty ripped. Like, that's not me saying that, that's how she describes herself. And in terms of personality, she's normally the quiet type and doesn't really think ahead. However, when I was looking more information on this, during Kamaru's beta designs is this, which, comparing it to how Kanon looks, shows that Kamaru's beta had a big impact on Kanon's final design. Even in this other Kamaru beta, she shares the same hair as Kanon, so it's really interesting thinking about how they wanted to approach the protagonist in this game, as it looked like they were trying to do a mix between Kamaru and Kanon later on. Something also is that, well, Kanon kind of has an unhealthy obsession with Leon, like to the point where she stalked him for years and even whispers his name in her sleep. We don't talk about that. But now that we talked about the different protagonists that could have been in the game, let's move on to some other characters that were supposed to be in the game that could have made a big impact. First, we have these human Monokumas, and it may not seem like they would have had a big impact on the game. However, in the gameplay section of this video that I'll be talking about in a bit, I do have a theory about what they could have been, so I'll move on, I'll get to that when I get to that. We have this image of what was supposed to be Chihiro's mother. You can definitely see the resemblance, and I'm not exactly sure the reason as to why they didn't include her in the game. However, she was going to appear alongside Chihiro's father, and is described as an inventor, which most likely was going to be connected to her helping the creation of the main weapon in the game, the hacking gun. There's also these Monokuma figures, which would have chased you around levels, most likely removed since, you know, they kind of just look like naked statues. I believe that is the main reason. We have Sayaka's little sister, which was never given a name. However, she looks a lot like Chiaki in my opinion. According to the Danganronpa art book, she was planned to appear on the hit list like other Danganronpa 1 family members. However, was scrapped for unknown reasons. The creators commented about her personality was like, and they said that she was the type to take one step forward but ends up taking one step back instead, which could mean that she has a lot of positive admiration for the future but ends up messing up or making it worse, either due to emotion, despair, etc. In Danganronpa 1 Chapter 1, Sayaka mentions that she grew up with no mother and that her father would always work late, thus meaning that she was very lonely in terms of family. So when it comes to her little sister, it's either that they didn't realize this canon, and decided that they didn't want to go against it, so instead they just got rid of it. Or at some point in the story, it would have been decided that they were separated, and it would have involved the little sister trying to find her. Now let's move on to gameplay side of things, which in Ultra Despair Girls becomes a completely different game than what it was originally going to be. So first we have this trailer, which was the first time we ever got to see Ultra Despair Girls in the public. Before this point, all we was told that there was going to be a new Danganronpa spin-off game, but we had no clue of what type of spin-off game it was going to be. Kodaka has mentioned in many interviews before that he would have loved to have done an RPG game for Danganronpa. However, an action game was decided in the end. The video starts out with chibi versions of the first and the second game's cast. This was only done to trick the viewer watching, as it looks like a very happy spin-off, but then transitions to very early gameplay of Ultra Despair Girls. Kind of think of it of like Dangan Island, how, you know, in the second game they try to trick us with that. And in this gameplay, we can see that the scene opens around us, kind of popping up just like the main games, like the first and the second game did. The gameplay here looks very similar to what we got in the final game, but there's obviously many differences. The HUD here looks way different, and it's trying to go for something more similar to the first and the second game in the Class Trials with the Truth Bullets. Apart from it looking very early in development, why do I say this game could have been completely different? Well, these early screenshots that were shared by the official Twitter account shows an earlier version of Kamaru with her wall running. This screenshot, it just looks so cool. Like, I can't even get over it. I love it. And in the second screenshot, it shows Kamaru and Toko jumping off a building trying to chase down a regular Monokuma as countless naked Monokuma statues try to get them, with the text at the bottom saying, escapes and hunts. Now, I could bring up so many theories on about how this gameplay could have been translated into the final game, and I would love to see what they were trying to go for here, because in my opinion, this concept is so much more cooler than what we got. Like, you could tell me that Ultra Despair Girls and M&M Kart on Wii have the same gameplay, I would believe you. However, from this, we can see that it looks like Ultra Despair Girls' original gameplay design was going to be more of a tracking down and hunting down regular Monokumas in a giant city, and other statue Monokumas would chase you down and try to kill you, having to do parkour to do different tricks and to escape. I would have loved this idea so much, and just imagining what could have happened if they kept this idea, it really makes me interested. My idea is that these regular Monokuma robots can't hurt you and just run away from you, which is a bit odd for a Monokuma to do that. But if there's like a really important factor in needing to hunt them down, then I can see them running away in fear. Also, remember the human Monokumas that I mentioned in the beta character designs? I really do believe that these could have been an earlier version of this idea, but with them replacing these statue Monokumas chasing Kamaru. Because, you know, having a horde of these running at you may seem a little weird, and, you know, some people may not take it as seriously, so yeah. I'm not sure how Kamaru and Toko being handcuffed would have worked in terms of gameplay, but judging by the fact that the other screenshot just had Kamaru alone, then I'm sure that these handcuffs linking them together was more to show that they were going to be pro tags of a duo, rather than anything gameplay wise. Either way, this is so cool and I love it a lot, but you know, we ended up getting this.
Start your engines!
Ready? Set?
Anyways, that was the beta of Ultra Despair Girls, in which it featured a completely different idea, concept, and game than what we ended up in the final release. And it ended up being unreleased to the public. And as I've said, I really do wish we got this, and I hope in the future that if Ultra Despair Girls 2 ever becomes a thing, then they end up using some of these unused ideas, as I'm sure this would have captured a lot of people's interest, instead of Ultra Despair Girls in the end having very mixed opinions by fans within the community. Either way, thank you all so much for watching, I hope you all have a lovely day, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in another video. Bye!